Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's version of Living Lives. And as always, I like to start with, what's in my diffuser. And today I have doTERRA's new Abode blend in the diffuser. And I chose it because it's one of the new products that just came out, was released a week ago or at convention. And the Abode blend is a blend for your home. And the refreshing blend contains lime, linseed, cassia, lemon eucalyptus, tea tree, arborvitae, kochi eucalyptus, cilantro, lavender, and lemon myrtle. And not only is it a nice uplifting citrus blend, it also is fantastic for cleaning. It cuts through grease, grime, and hard water buildup, and comes in lots of other products. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you can reach out to me and I'll give you more information. Now, today I have a special treat for you. My friend David Jarvis, who is a medical musician for the Institute of Music and Neurologic Function at Wartburg. Welcome, David.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
I know we both had a little bit of technical difficulties getting on, but here we are and ready to go. So I was wondering if you could just tell us maybe a little bit about how you came to be a medical musician and what that is.
Sure. Well, a medical musician, first of all, is a professional musician who plays in places where healing takes place, namely hospitals, rehab centers, nursing homes, memory care, where I was this morning. All different kinds of venues are available, because the concept is that music is a healing, is healing in its very makeup. I like to call it the language of God, the language of the spirit. It's what unites us all. We all like music. We can't escape it. And I really believe there is a definite connection between music and healing. Music therapy has been around for a while, although I am not a music therapist. There's a difference in that I tend to be more of a professional musician that goes in and plays, where a therapeutic musician approaches patients differently than I do. The most important thing that I can do, for example, in a hospital, is to try to get patients to relax. Patients are petrified when they're in the hospital. Mm-hmm. All the things are going on in their minds. Think of what somebody goes through when they're in a hospital or a place that's not their home. Not their home. How did I get here? What did I do to deserve this? Am I going to die? Or the last one, how the hell am I going to pay for this bill?
Yeah.
And that's all a part of it, and for years, doctors have been prescribing things like oxycodone, which is highly addictive, Xanax, which is not as highly addictive, but still, how do we get patients off of these things? And they believe that music is a very major key. After I work with a patient, oftentimes I'll have another musician comes in and helps them set up a Spotify account or a Pandora or something that helps them. I like to think of penicillin pieces. A penicillin piece is, what do you listen to when you don't feel good? And that's when all of us don't feel good. A lot of times we lay down on our beds or on the couch and we turn on the music. Well, what music is it? It's very important that we know what that music is, and that's a part of who we are, and that's a part of the healing process. And
do you have are there songs in particular that you find common among those healing songs for people?
It's all over the place.
Okay.
It's all over. I have one of the things I like to talk about is our secular hymns.
Okay.
We have our secular hymns. And there's Christian hymns as well. But our secular hymns, what are the songs that have moved humanity for so long? I, being an out gay man, relate to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's one of my
Mhm.
hymns. The Impossible Dream is one of my hymns. When You Walk Through a Storm. But also, I love You've Got a Friend in Me, from the Disney film. There's all
Mhm.
kinds of songs that I find are very hymn like. In When You Wish Upon a Star, Neverland, so many. These are hymns that everybody knows, and if they don't know the words, most people know the gist of what the song is.
Yep.
And the songs reflect a positive outlook. The songs reflect hope in the midst of despair, and that's generally speaking the type of songs that I would gravitate to when I'm playing in a hospital or when I'm playing in an intensive care unit or in a regular environment. By the way, you should know too is that before I got involved with this, I spent 47 years as an ordained minister in the United Church of Christ. So I
Mhm.
do have that in my background, as well as 60 years of being a cabaret barroom pianist, which I still do today, and I love playing for sing along piano because that's
Mhm.
another thing that I try to do. Every time I try to work with people with music, I try to get them to sing because and the theory behind that one is Wayne is you can't feel poopy when you're singing a song. It is
Yeah, it's
great. I think it's the fastest community builder that there is. When people arouse, join themselves in song, it's terrific. It's terrific. If you've been any kind of community theater or any kind of choir or chorus or church choir, when you sing together and you like the sound that you make, nothing makes you feel better. You know,
I've personally been involved with all of those things, and I've also sung with you at some of those events. Up at our one of our favorite places, Easton Mountain, and it is definitely. I always said when I was at church, I directed a contemporary choir for years in church,
sure.
and I always said that I didn't want people. Not that I didn't want it, but I didn't push for the perfect notes and everything together because what was really important to me was more the feeling that the people had in singing with us or the feeling that the choir, if they were doing a choir hymn, evoked among the people in the congregation. And that was much more important to me than the perfect technical execution of the notes in the
Right.
song because
Absolutely.
you bring that feeling, and music is, it's, as you said, it's a phenomenal way of changing moods, building community. Part of what my brand is and what I talk about all the time is adventures and connection. So it's that connection piece. If you can connect with one another in a setting where you're singing songs together or listening to a choir, that connection piece is so important, especially coming out of the year and a half that we've come out of recently where we haven't had that connection in person.
Sure. I have two statements I like to make. And I have Jarvis says occasionally if you do Facebook, and Jarvis says, you can't feel poopy when you're singing a song. And number two, Jarvis says it's not how you sing, it's that you sing that's important. And because if you're singing in a group, if you're a little bit off key, somebody's going to drown you out,
Right.
And the most important thing is that you become a part of the group, and no group is perfect, and so that becomes a part of the church of the group's character, and
Right. And, I liken it back to, a beautiful maple tree in October where, you're standing back and you see this gorgeous, beautiful, perfect tree. But when you get up close, every single leaf has a blemish on it.
great,
And it's,
great.
that all those blemished leaves coming together to make that beautiful statement of the whole tree. And the same thing is with, with musicians and choirs and music.
Right. And the sad part is that over my lifetime, which is 73 years, I have seen music and participatory music go right down the train, right down the drain. When I was a kid, music was everywhere. We sang all the time in schools, not to records like they do today.
Right.
They pounded notes on the piano. We had some music teachers that were great pianists and some that were lousy, but we sang anyway. And there's something about the live performance, and it's not that I have something against karaoke, but I do, because you will notice that karaoke is for one person.
Yep.
And where I am into is for everyone to sing as a group. Not that we don't do solos and all that kind of thing. I remember as a young person, we used to sing in the choir all the time. We used to sing, and now people don't really sing; they listen to the radio, and
Right.
and that type of situation. But how do we reincorporate and reintroduce music into our lives that really moves us and we become a part of? It's so important. Dance is another thing. Boy, if you can wiggle the same time you sing, you've got it made. It's good for the brain. It's good for the heart. It's good for the
Sure.
Just,
It really is.
don't dance enough either, and just responding to music, and it's so important, and it is the big thing, I recommend highly for people who are interested in this the works of Oliver Sacks, who's probably my hero, the late Oliver Sacks, who wrote Musicophilia. I wish I had a copy of it right here so I could just hold it up. But he's in he's written many books, and he talks about a lot of these issues. And the Institute for Music and Neurological Function, which I'm a part of, is carrying out the work of Dr. Sacks and really working hard to try to energize people in this field, and because there's so much that we don't know, there's more that we don't know than what we do know. It's just incredible. Because I have seen music work miracles with people.
Yes.
And you see this. Tommy Schweitzer is a phenomenal music therapist down in Pennsylvania. Virginia. And he is doing tremendous work. And he has helped someone that was virtually brain dead, and he's brought them back. All of these things. It doesn't happen with everyone, but at least we have people that are trying to find a path to this.
And I'm thinking that, if you're working with patients, you're helping. Obviously, you get something from it as well, because
Sure.
I know when I've helped somebody, there's always that feel good for helping somebody. But I'm thinking that if parents are there for a sick child, or relatives are there, or friends are visiting, it really helps everybody, not just the patient.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. It's everybody. As a matter of fact, I've gone into some rooms, and in the hospitals, people reclaim their old spiritual patterns, and you have Christians, and of course that's my tradition as well. But still, hymns mean everything to some of these people, and I have played for hymn sings around a bedside, and it is a very powerful experience. I have played while people have passed,
Hmm.
and that is another experience that is just a wonderful experience to see, to have someone pass over while you're playing. One room I was playing, and a woman came in and said, "My mother heard your music, and she loved it, and I know that it helped her let go."
Mm.
The way she responded, and when she heard your songs and all. Uh, That's what I do, Wayne. And
Yeah.
I have a Yamaha that I have on wheels. I designed it all by myself. I took a music stand, drilled 4 holes in the bottom, and screwed some wheels on it. And so I'm all over the place. And
Okay.
you get me in the room, and I wheel it all over. And again, today I was in memory care with people with Alzheimer's, and people sometimes don't know their own name, but tell me that how they know all the words to "Let Me Call You Sweetheart," or
Right.
"Take Me Out to the Ball Game," or see these some of the songs that we'll sing. I've been working on the railroad. They remember these songs. There is a connection. There's
Yeah.
something that the wires get uh, uh, reconnected somehow. You know, the medical musician was founded by Andrew Schulman and Dr. Marvin McMillan, and these are two people I studied with. Andrew is a master medical musician who's a guitarist and classical guitarist, and he plays. And Dr. McMillan is the one that saved his life, pretty much. And Andrew was all but pronounced dead, and his wife came in with with his iPod and plugged the earphones, and he miraculously had a tremendous improvement and is
Hmm.
alive and playing today. His book is called "Waking the Spirit," and that's by Andrew Schulman, and it tells the story of his journey and all. We have a musician uh, playing in the NIH, Michael, and he is terrific. So gradually, the medical community is getting on board. I think the nursing home and the rehab communities have been on board for a long time because
Mhm.
music is a big part of what they do. But the
Right.
hospitals, the intensive care units, stuff like that, they're a little bit slower, but we're working on it, and more people are coming on board. And but it's a new field, it's an exciting field, and the nice thing is that you know nobody knows any of the answers. All we know is by trial and error and certain things that work, you know. Um, you never know what you're going to play when you walk down the hall. You never know. You have to do what you think is going to fit. And
Okay. So if
so
you were to walk into my room, how would you start?
I would probably start with some very on my keyboard. I have new age pads
Hmm.
and violins, very soft, And I think as an introduction, I might play something like Unchained Melody, very slow.
Okay.
Another one that I might do is When You Walk Through a Storm, very slow. The Simple Gifts is very popular.
Hmm. I can see where
And
it
that
would be.
is in New England, I mean, because who doesn't know the Simple Gifts? And it's a very pretty, very New England tune from the Shaker hymn.
Yeah.
And I've written a few things too that I use to, as I call, perambulate, walking up and down the halls. Because the
Okay.
other thing is, you do spend some time in the hallway because you don't want to go into a room unless you're invited. I will
Okay.
stand in the hallway, and all of a sudden, and I can tell if somebody's responding. When I go through the hallway, I can't always see the face, but I look at the feet, and if the feet open, that's all but an invitation. They're liking it. People will move to the music. They will definitely show some kind of response. You know, so.
I know. I always, my mother always said I had happy feet because whenever there was music on, the feet were always going.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. That's great.
so this is a phenomenal ministry that you have here, and it's great that you were able to combine the two careers that you had before into something so rewarding to
Yeah,
continue now.
this is where I am. I'm really very humbled, having spent so many years behind the piano in piano bars, and which is such a fun way to make a living. getting people to sing around the piano and having fun and that type of thing. And then, of course, my work in the church,
Hmm.
and working on people's spirituality. I'm not one of these crazy, you know, Bible thumping type of guys, but I'm more of people trying to connect with their own inner journey,
Yeah.
and that to me is where it's all about. So if you put the music and the inner journey stuff together, that's where I am now, and it's terrific. It's terrific, and it makes me say, "Gee, I wish I did this 50, 60 years ago." Well, I wasn't ready 50, 60 years ago,
Right.
which is also part of my journey. I
Right.
wasn't ready. The world wasn't ready. The universe wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And now that it's happening, I just hope that I have enough time to really do much more, because I'd always seem to want to do more and more in this area.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's a.
Speaking of Eastern Mountain, isn't it amazing? That
Hmm.
I've never had that type of experience before I came there. Or if they did, it was not on that scale. And to see the way when we were there together, how it transforms, um, how it transforms a group and unifies the spirit. It's just an amazing thing to see people having such a great time,
Yeah.
making their sound. So,
The world's lucky to have you. Uh,
and you're a part of it, Wayne. You're a part of it. My trip up the mountain was not until last March, I guess it was, and that was my
yep.
trip. And gosh, we've been hooking up there for a long time now, and it seems like we're old friends rather than when we're really new friends. But, you know, I think part of that's music.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
music.
Music has always played a huge part in my life. I was a church musician for, I don't know, 30, 40, 30 years, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
30 plus years. And
Sing great. You sing wonderful.
it's, oh, thanks. But I've had, many times where, I don't know if I ever told you, but the, um, I led the music for 9 pilgrimages to Lourdes
Wow.
with the Knights and Dames of Malta. And I've had some fantastic, moving experiences through music there. And music is very important in the healing process in Lourdes. And I don't know if you've ever been, but if you ever get the chance to go, it's really phenomenal with what they
I
do with
haven't
the
been there, but I have been to Malta.
Mhm. But it's music is very important to me as well. So and I know there was a time when I wasn't singing, and it was not a good time in my life, and I'm glad that I'm back to singing again, and how it moves. And one of the songs that has always been important to me is "Amazing Grace," which is probably another one of those hymns that uh,
Absolutely.
bring back for a lot of people, because that has been in American culture for so long. I'm sure it's one of the ones that you have in your. Well, I know you have it because we've sung it together. So,
This morning in memory care. It's amazing when I'm in memory care. I always like to do hymns.
yeah,
And Amazing Grace is always asked for. And it's amazing. Not only do they know the first verse, which everybody kind of knows, but they know parts of all the other verses, because
verses.
I know
Yeah,
all 4 of them, and I sing all 4 of them because I think it refreshes the memory, and also the message of all 4 verses is very,
right.
very important. Excuse me, I've got a cat. I have a bad cat.
Oh, okay. Didn't want to be left out of the broadcast.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I know. When I'm busy, that's when we can do things that we're not supposed to do. Cats. There.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today on the show, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
I'll see you this weekend.
Yes, yes, we will.
It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. So if you want to hang out in the green room for just a second while I wrap up the show.
Sure, sure. And it was great chatting with you. Great chatting with you. Peace now.
Thanks. So if you're interested in more of that stuff, we have a couple of, the books that Waking the Spirit by Andrew Schulman and a few other references that I will put in the notes for the show. Thank you for joining us today. Upcoming events that I have, you can go to waynelease.com/renewal it's a program for men who are interested in doing some self-care work and learning more about essential oils as well as other techniques. The next group is starting on October 24th. And if you're interested in other parts of my work, you can always go to waynelease.com. And as always, I encourage you all to go out, make a connection, and live your best lives. Have a great day, everybody.